Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pints with Ayre. I'm Brent Heffley, the Sales and Marketing Director for Ayre Acoustics. I am here with Ariel Brown, our VP and Senior Engineer, and Ryan Berry, our CEO and Expert Technician. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers.
I got to turn my pint glass around so I get the little Pints with Ayre.
All right.
Yeah.
Ariel, your glass is a little emptier than mine, and
yep,
I'm pretty sure we're the same size can, so I think you might have started before the episode.
Ariel got a head start. Nice. So what's in that half a glass, Ariel? Bring today.
so this is one of my old longtime favorites that I probably haven't had in maybe 15 years. So this is one of the old Colorado breweries. This is Tommyknocker Maple Nut Brown. When I was quite a bit younger, whenever we would come out of the mountains from skiing or something, we almost always either stop at the Tommyknocker Brewery or next door at Bojo's, have some pizza, and we'd also have,
in Idaho Springs.
Yep, in Idaho Springs.
Yeah.
And it's probably literally been 15-ish years since I've had this, but I miss it, and it's delicious.
That's funny. I know that name, and then as soon as you said next to the Bojo's, I absolutely, that's one of the coolest little downtown streets, like that little so quintessential mountain town, cute place. Awesome. That's what you've got today too, Ryan. You got the
same one here.
Same one. What's your can look like?
Well, it looked like this, which is normal, but I found that they have a nice little tear off tab that makes them silver cans pretty quickly. So great for recycling.
I love it. Nice. Well, I brought something that doesn't have quite the tearaway label, but it's from one of my favorite breweries, as you guys know, Block 15 up in Corvallis. The Little Dab dry hopped pale ale, and it's nice because it's 4.5%. So it's a great. I won't need to take a nap after this episode, is I guess what I'm getting at there.
But you will anyway.
Yeah, I might anyway, just because, but it's definitely not an imperial level.
Gotcha.
Cool. Well, I hope everyone out there in the world has a good pint for this episode, because I'm super excited. This is the first time we get to do a product announcement as an episode. We kind of did an overview at the end of last year of what was coming, but we left this one off of that episode, I believe. But we're going to announce it today, and that is the EX-8 2.0.
Yep.
What? So something exciting that we've been working on, and it's got some nice improvements, some things, and I mean, as everyone probably knows out there, but we upgrade our products not super frequently, but we try to have a long lifespan and do upgrades every few years when we accumulate enough stuff to really make a difference, because obviously we want those upgrades to be really effective, really noticeable, and definitely worth the money that you put into them. So what do we want to start? Ariel, you did the design stuff. Ryan, you did a bunch of listening tests on it. Ariel, do you want to give us an overview of like what changed in the bigger picture on the design?
Sure. So the most noticeable, the biggest change is the output stage. And so when we originally designed the 8 series, again, we tried to design it as a very multi-use configurable boards to be able to use in like the preamp or power amp integrated in various DACs and stuff. And so and so we had designed the main board with the power amp in mind. And so we had originally released the EX-8 with the simplified output stage. And so with this 2.0 upgrade, we thought it was worth it to pretty much to install the full power amp output stage. And so we've doubled up the output devices. There were originally 4, and now there's 8 in the output stage. And so that the big benefit there is that it's much more capable of driving lower impedance loads. So it could before, but it definitely started to strain a bit. So with this, it would be able to drive 4 ohm and 2 ohm loads quite a bit better. You get quite a bit higher measured power output at those impedances.
Yeah, that's great, because I even though it's one of our less expensive products, we still want it to be able to drive things that are more difficult out there in the market, because it's fully capable of powering those. But
yep, yeah, and then along with the doubled up output stage, we've also doubled the output power supply capacitance to be able to help again drive those loads better, better base response, better filtering.
Yeah, so the EX-8 is a great product. I have one at home. It's my main system I listen to almost all the time now, and it's fantastic in the sense, you have that one device, and no matter what else you have there, if you want to make it your TV system, you can go optical into it, or if you want it to be a standalone streaming system, you have that in your speakers and you use the built-in network module and it's good to go. So it's a fantastic product, but spending time with it, there's been times where, as we've developed the 8 series, gone further into the other products, we've learned a couple of things that have made improvements to the design, to how it sounds and everything, and just knowing that it didn't quite have as much oomph as I wanted sometimes. Really gave us some emphasis to kind of go back and revisit the design a little bit here. And so, like I said, it's a great product. I love the EX-8, but this rounds it out in a way that, really makes it feel, that gives it that versatility of being that universal piece that we really want it to be. So, I think it's been a great change so far, and I've got it at home now again. Thank God. I was without my system at home for 4 weeks. I missed it quite a bit. so now it's back at home, and I'm listening to it again, and yeah, I'm just blown away by how much better it sounds. And it's all minor changes outside of the output stages that Ayre was describing, but they all added up to
those minor changes add up when there are tweaks in that circuit.
It always does,
Yeah. So the other significant change is that, and again, this came from further development of the 8 series. And so after we released the EX-8, we were working on the QX-8, and we made a few more refinements, some minor refinements before we released the QX-8. And so with the major output stage change, we were then able to pull in those minor diamond buffer kind of bias tweaks to the circuit as well.
Yeah, stuff that was so small that we wouldn't want to do all on its own and make it a separate update, but now we have to roll everything together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that change also nicely applies to the headphone amplifier stage, was again just one of the diamond buffers, and so it's I was almost most readily noticeable on the headphone output, and it objectively it will actually lower the output impedance a little bit, probably a couple tenths of an ohm, but it's because it's already pretty low. It's already on the order of 1 or 2 ohms, so it might be quarter or half an ohm lower now.
Right. Great. Yeah, that's awesome, because that's already applied in the QX8, correct? And that affects the headphone output there. So if anyone out there has one and hasn't tried it with their headphones yet, definitely do. It's an amazing headphone amplifier. Right. Ryan, you got to listen to a lot of the different parts and pieces we were considering when we were going through that, and it's a tedious job. It's like, you're going back and forth, and after 4 hours, your ear starts bleeding, and you're just like, oh my God. Like,
it's also the greatest tedious job you'll ever have. So,
yeah.
If your tedious job is getting to listen to music for hours on end, then, oh, well, it's a rough life, right?
Right.
So I can't feel too sorry
worse.
for myself. But Yeah, we spent a lot of time listening to it, and I don't like the buzzwords in music, with spatialness and things like that. But I do know, levels of musicality, so to speak, that you're listening for, and what just sounds better to our ears. And you get that, you pick up on things like, oh, it sounds a little shrill on the high end, or it's doesn't have that presence that you would expect. So it doesn't
Mhm.
feel, it doesn't invoke that emotional response. And
Right.
the EX-8 was always, like I said, before, it was always been a great amp. But it as we move through this, it's one of those, you learn what you didn't realize you were missing as you
Yeah.
kind of go through it. And so you get more of that body, and you get more of that presence, and it just feels, it's kind of strange, because we're driving speakers, and it drives them fine. The TADs that we have, the big TADs that we listen in the listening room, and then my Van der Steen 3s that I have at home, they're all driven just fine by the EX-8. But as when we did the first change, doubling up those output devices and having that stronger drive, I mean, you could feel that it was just driving them better. Just the way that the speakers were, excited by the EX-8 was just way better than it was before. So
Very cool.
you just pick up on that presence. And you got that bass response is all of a sudden just really present. The body of the music just feels complete now. It's just, there was elements that were missing that, again, you didn't know you were missing until you went through the upgrade, and then you're like, oh, okay. This is what I wanted to hear. And so it's got a lot of that. It's just a fun amplifier to listen to. And you get drawn into the music with it again, even much better than it was. And it just, I wouldn't say it's a 5 series, and like what the AX5 can do. I mean, that's a huge amp, and the VX5 can do. Those are, those big amplifier sections
Right.
of those. But gosh, it's getting close to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm really happy with this. So I think it's an exciting change, and I think a lot of people will be happy with it when they do it.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
And then for those of us that are for the new units that we're sending out the door, of course, they're all coming as 2.0s now. So every new unit that we sell is going to have all the changes already implemented. So there's no having to send it back to the factory and having it all swapped out after you just bought a unit or anything like that. We want to make
Right.
sure everybody's getting the full experience that we want.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we're
and-
here in. Oh, go ahead, Ariel.
Yeah, so the other, I know that most of the EX-8s out there, I mean, if they get upgraded, the other change they'll get is the new vented lid.
Yep. Yeah. So when we initially were sending out the EX-8s, the EX-8 works well enough on the chassis level to keep the devices cool to the point that they need to be. But one thing that we found was the front of the unit gets oddly hot. I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable, or it's certainly not dangerous or painful or anything like that to mess with the front of it, but it's warmer than you would expect a unit of its size to be. So it just feels weird. So when you touch the knob and it's like warm to the touch, it's like, oh, that's kind of odd. So the vented lid helps improve a lot of that. It lets a lot of that heat kind of get out of the unit and breathe and aspirate a little bit better, more as we intended with the design. And so it just feels nicer. It's more of a quality of life kind of a change. But then you'll definitely avoids any situations where, if you're really driving it hard, where it might have the chance to overheat, that's gonna definitely be mixed right there.
Yeah, excellent. Excellent. So we're mid-March now, and these are beginning to ship out.
Yep.
They'll be hitting the retail floors around the world here in the next few weeks. And yeah, if you guys out there get a chance to go listen. Let us know what you think. You can email us at pints@ayre.com. You can leave messages in the YouTube channel below, but email us. We check those more often. So
Much more often.
much more often.
Or call.
Or call. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Give us a call. Hopefully.
Love talking audio. It gives us an opportunity to do it. So, one nice thing about these videos has been, it gives us this outlet to have this, chance to express our love for music. And, without the trade shows, it's been hard. So
right.
we'd love to talk to you guys.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So hopefully we'll be able to do another product announcement video sometime next month. So stay tuned for that, and we'll have some other exciting stuff in between. But until then, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.